join my exclusive Christian women's group. In this group, we chat about clothes, beauty, home decor, parenting, marriage, cooking, and of course, our Christian walk. It's Christian lifestyle all encompassing. So be sure to join by clicking the link below. I hope to chat with you soon. Now back to our. Are you a woman who enjoys beautiful things? 34/5 Lifestyle has lovely, unique accessories for your everyday look and also for those special occasions. Click the link below to check out our latest accessory collection. Hey lady, welcome back to your new favorite talk show for Christian women, Grown Lady Chat, with me, your host, Dr. Sherunda Simone. Now let me make sure that you all can hear me because I have been known to chat for a good minute or so before I realize that I'm muted. So if you can hear me, because I see you ladies coming in, I see you. If you can hear me, go ahead and drop in the comment section a thumbs up, a yes. Good evening, Tracy. Good evening. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being on time/early. Okay. Tracy is actually early. Love to see it. All right. So if you can hear me, let me know. If you can't, let me know as well so I can fix my audio. Oh, there is something on my eye. Or on my eye in my contact. Where's my little? I can't find it. Okay. All right. You hear me? Wonderful. Hello. Thank you, Jera. Welcome. Good evening. Thank you, Tracy. Perfect. You hear me? All righty, ladies. Let's go ahead and get tonight's chat started. And I'm so happy that you are here because whether you have little ones or not, whether you are actively parenting or not, it's going to be a good conversation because we all have children or adolescents in our orbit that we help, whether it's from afar, whether it's up close as an auntie or a grandma, a sister, whatnot. We have people or little ones that we're influencing. So it's going to be a good chat. Okay. But before we get into that, first things first, ladies, smash the like button, okay? And go ahead and say where you're tuning in from. You already know the drill. My ladies who have been around for some time now, you already know the drill. Go ahead and smash the like button. If you're tuning in from Facebook, make sure you do that as well, okay? All right. And then, let's see. Question of the day. Let's just have it be a random question because I'm thinking about changing my contacts out because it's time. Are you someone who wears glasses or contacts or any kind of corrective eyewear? Yes or no? Just a random question of the day. I have another one that is pertinent to our chat here tonight too. And I'll share that in just a moment. But let's get the conversation flowing. Okay, so Jera is tuning in from Indiana. Jera, you do wear glasses. We can see it in your lovely photo. How pretty. All right, so Jera does wear glasses. I wear contacts. Sometimes I wear my glasses. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I use glasses as an accessory. So if I think it's cute and it will add to my outfit, then I'm going to wear it if I feel so. And actually, okay, you know what? This one gets on my nerves. Let's push this hair back. And actually, I need to put on my blue light blocking glasses. Do you ladies wear blue light blocking glasses? Those of you who are in front of the screen a lot, do you guys wear them? I need to do a better job. And I may take these off as the episode continues because sometimes, I feel like they get in the way of me truly communicating with you. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I feel as though glasses are a hindrance. Okay, so Tracy wears glasses and Jerry, you've been wearing glasses most of your life. So as a child in my adolescent years, I wore glasses up until consistently, like every single day, prescription glasses up until eighth grade. Yeah, which is considered second form in Jamaica. So up until eighth grade, I wore glasses. But then my auntie turned me on to contact lenses and I've never gone back. I've never gone back consistently unless it's for a certain look or blue light blocking glasses. So again, I may wear these, but I feel like it's giving me a bunch of Yeah, it's kind of giving a cast on the screen for you. I don't want it to be distracting, but if you are someone who you look at your cell phone screen a lot or computer screens a lot, tablet screens, then you need to be wearing blue light blocking glasses. Okay, you need to do that. Oh no, Jera, really? Legally blind? Well, it's good though. It's good that you have your glasses then, you know? It's really, really good. All right. Nearsightedness. And let me tell you something too. As I get deeper and deeper into my 40s, today I was trying to look at something and I had to do the whole pull away. I was like, oh, I've reached that stage of life. I've reached the stage of life where I have to hold things at an angle, you know? Yeah, I try to be cute with it, but it's obvious that my vision has changed some. My vision has changed. All right, ladies, the real question of the day is, what is your fondest childhood memory? Let me know in the comment section. Tonight, we're going to be talking about parenting tips, advice, experiences, things that you could share with the community comfortably that have helped you. Or even if you have questions to pose to the community, go ahead and do that. All right, because we are here to learn and grow together. I have a few notes that I've jotted down here that I'll share with you just from my experience and, what has been working and what I've done with my little ones. Now, remember, I am in a blended family, so my home dynamic is a little bit different from, just the traditional home setting. And I'm so grateful, so blessed. I absolutely love my bonus babies. So I have two bonus babies from my husband's first marriage. 22 years old, and the other one's about to be 21, which is crazy because I remember meeting them when they were like 6 and 8, respectively. And to see them now as young adults, first of all, I don't know how because I'm not aging, right? But even more so, it's like you really can just see them grow up through the years, and for a period of time, each of them, lived with us. So I was actually able to really have, intimate moments with them and just watch them grow. And even now, I think even as they're young adults, we're even closer now. So it's beautiful. So, and then my husband and I together, we have three little ones. So I have a 10-year-old, 7, and 4. So I want to hear from you. What have you been doing? All right. Let me know in the comment section. I don't want this to be just me talking. I want to hear from you as well. Again, I do have my own notes, but I know that our Grown Lady Chat community, you guys can, chime in. And if you're on Facebook, chime in as well. All of the comments come to me here, even though I'm, streaming live primarily through YouTube. Okay. All right. So let's hear it. All right. We have a couple comments. And ladies, if anyone wants to join the chat, please, please, please let me know because I can share the link. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and copy the chat link. I'm going to post it right there. So all you have to do is click on the link that I just shared, and you can come on the live chat either just with your audio or with your audio and video. So you can be a part of the conversation. All right, so Tracy said, my dad was on staff at Ohio State University, and I loved going to work with him and going to the football games. Oh, that's awesome. So that is her one of her most fond childhood memories, spending time with her dad, which is really, really sweet. All right, anybody else want to give their fond childhood memory? You can go ahead and do that. All right, now, before I get too much further into the chat, first of all, welcome if it's your first time tuning in. If someone invited you to Grown Lady Chat, please let me know as well, because I'd like to tell them thank you for, exposing you to our growing community. And of course, if you're returning, thank you so very much. We are nearing 100 episodes, ladies. Can you believe it? I am beside myself. I am beside myself. I was like, oh my goodness, like we're really doing this, So I'm so grateful for all of you. And our 100th episode celebration, party, special event is happening on Tuesday, May 28th at 7 p.m. So I know usually we go Monday and Thursday, but because of the holiday on that Monday, we're doing it on the Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't want to miss it, ladies. Okay. So if you've already RSVP'd, thank you. I see you. Invite a friend. Okay. Invite, because my goal, my hope, my prayer is to have 100+ ladies. All right. Here for the party. So, I mean, of course, 200, 300, even better, but definitely just to commemorate 100 episodes, I want to have over 100 women who tune in for that special event. So you don't want to miss it. Please be sure to RSVP. And actually, I probably should share the RSVP link. I can do that. I'll do that at the end. So I'll put it in a pinned comment under this video. Okay. But if you want to, reach out to me, also, you can reach out to me. All of my contact information is down below. And then I can get you the registration information, not the registration, the RSVP information. That way I can have a good head count, because again, I can have some things planned, door prizes and little things like that. Now, in order to be eligible for winning a door prize, you have to RSVP. Okay, so that's like, your incentive to actually let me know you're going to show up. And please invite a friend. All right, the more the merrier. The more the merrier. Okay, so question of the day: what is your fondest childhood memory? Tracy already chimed in. I have quite a few. What is my fondest? Oh, I feel like when it comes to things like this, it's hard for me just to pick one thing, because there are so many things, experiences with my parents in the US, experiences with my grandmother in Jamaica. So I don't know if I could pick just one thing, but I have some really good memories from just living, like I said, overseas and here. All right, ladies. So we've talked about the 100th episode. You're going to tune in. Yes, yes. And now we're going to get into the meat of tonight's conversation. So I am raising little children. Those of you who might be tuning in, or even if you're watching the replay, you might have already raised, your children. But as far as I see it, a mother is a mother forever. A father is a father forever. Even when your kids move out the house, they still need you. You still have a connection with them, a bond, but they're no longer adolescents. They're just older, right? But I still want to talk about some things that I've been doing, or hubby and I have been doing together, just to raise our children in a Christian home. And I would love to hear what you have to say as well. So the first thing is that we try to make Christianity a lifestyle. We make living for God, our faith walk, a part of our everyday life. It's not just on a Sunday. It's not just, for Bible study or a small group. No, making your lifestyle about living for Christ in front of your children is so very important, because it helps drive it home. It helps make it more real and something that is approachable and doable. I think very often, especially when someone is like a non-believer, or if they have a very, infantile experience with the Lord, they think that, their faith walk is something separate from their everyday life. But I like to talk about Christian lifestyle, because that's what it is. Being a Christ follower is a lifestyle for me. It's not just a tagline. It's not just a hashtag. It really is my life. It's, how I live, right? And so hubby and I, we try to incorporate our faith into everything we do, into the conversations we have with our children, how we resolve conflict between our children, between ourselves. We try and use the Bible, faith-based information, because then it makes it more real. And when your children see you living for Christ in real time, it gives them a better understanding. It's not some separate thing that only happens on Sundays. And Bible verses that really help with that can be found in Deuteronomy. There are quite a few Bible verses, but Deuteronomy 6, let me see if I can find it. Usually I try and screenshot these, but Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 through 3. All right. You all know that I like to bring it back to the Bible whenever we can, because that's what we're doing. We're doing our Christian walk together. All right. So Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 to 7 read, this is the NIV. These commandments that I give to you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. We can go on to verse 8 even. It says, tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Ladies, we have got to walk our Christian lifestyle out in real time. It cannot just be something that is, sprinkled throughout. It needs to be who we are for our children. And when you do that, you'll give your children a better example of how they can too walk with Christ throughout life. So if you're ever looking for Bible verses to help kind of bring you back to center, I really like Deuteronomy 6, 7, and 8. Deuteronomy 6, verses 6, 7, and 8, because it says specifically, impress them on your children. Talk about the Lord. Talk about what he expects of us. Talk about how to resolve conflict. Talk about relationships. Talk about sexuality. Talk about all those things with your children as it pertains to the word of God. And don't make it be something, unique and special all the time, because then it'll feel so foreign, like there has to be some big to do about it. No, I like to just tell my children, like, hey, talk to Jesus about it. There are times when my kids come to me and yes, we work through things together. And yes, I mother them and I parent them. And then other times I'm like, hey, you know what? After we're done talking, go talk to God about it. Like, I want for my children to have their own relationship with the Lord. And that's what we should be doing. And I tell them all the time, even down to my 4-year-old, I let her know that I can't know Jesus for you. You have to know Jesus. You have to have a relationship with God for yourself. And I think the sooner we say that, and the sooner we drive that message home, then the better off our little ones will be. So let me know in the comment section if you have any other Bible verses or anything that you can add to that first piece of advice. Okay. Also, too, let me see. Okay. Yeah, we have good connection. I want to make sure that our connection was good. All right. If you're just tuning in, welcome. I am Dr. Sherunda Simone, and every Thursday we have live episodes. All right. And Grown Lady Chat, we are a community of Christian women, and we're doing life together, and we're doing it live together beautifully. Okay, so if those are things you're interested in, then make sure that you subscribe. Okay, we have lots of fun over here, and we talk about Christian lifestyle. All right, so the next thing, or the next piece of advice that I want to share with you is, I kind of touched on it before, but when it comes to sexuality, be honest, be direct, and be biblical. Honest, direct, and biblical. Now, obviously, depending on how young or old your child is, then you have to use wisdom and tact, right? Timing has to be right. You don't want to tell them everything when you're with your honesty piece, but you can be honest and you can still make it age appropriate. But I encourage my children, if you have a question about your body, if you have a question about relating to other gender, the other gender, come and ask me. I don't want them asking at classmates and then hearing what they shouldn't hear. I don't want that. So instead, I encourage them to come and talk to me about it. And praise God, my children are very comfortable with telling me things because I tell them from day one, tell me everything, anything. Let me tell you if it's something that we could have, skipped. But I would rather them come to me and then me be inundated with information than they pull away and I don't hear what I need to hear. You know what I'm saying? I don't catch certain things in the moment. And I think that's so important for us, as parents, for us to be available to our children and for them to know that we are a safe space. Because if we don't do that, then they're going to look for other people to talk to. They're going to look for other voices to hear. They're going to ask other people the questions that they should feel comfortable asking us. So I always, especially when it comes to sexuality, especially with all of the, the confusion, because it's downright confusion in the world today, because it's only male and female, everything else in between, that's not godly. And so because of that, I'm very direct with my children. And that might be an unpopular opinion, but I will just randomly pop quiz them. And I'll say, hey, can you become a boy? I'll ask my daughter that. And she says, no. Okay, I just want to make sure you knew. Okay, and I'll pop quiz my boys. Hey, can you ever become a girl? No, mommy. And they're looking at me like, that's a crazy thing. Why would you ask me? Because I know where this world is headed. Okay, so we as Christian parents, we need to begin to set that foundation. When I was growing up, that was never a conversation that needed to be had because that thought hadn't even entered the realm of conversation, but nowadays that's not the case. So I am very direct. I'm honest, direct, and biblical. Of course, I'm always age appropriate, but I don't try and sugarcoat certain things. Certain things we've got to be on it, because Satan is coming, and he's coming for the little ones because he knows that the children are the future. So I don't play around with things like that. All right. Oh, we have some Virginia. Oh, she's watching from West Virginia. Welcome, Jasmine. Welcome. Last week you were in Georgia, and now you're in West Virginia. Okay. Love to see it. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. All right. Tracy asks, how do you handle your kids' internet time? The internet time, my children, even though they have their own tablets, all of the tablets, I keep them until it's time for them to use them. So they only use the tablets when I give them permission. When it comes to like cell phone use, none of my younger children obviously have cell phones. And I know my middle schooler, he uses a computer for work, homework. And then sometimes he'll ask to, like look up things about baseball or, Legos or something. And I'm very aware. I have all the little, tracking things. I can see what he's looking at. And then when it comes to like YouTube, which for my children, YouTube is like TV to them. They'll watch some of the TV shows and cartoons that, we put up. And usually they're like from, the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. They don't really watch any of the new stuff, no. But the way that we handle it is, it's not a constant all day thing. And that's actually something that I was going to talk about later, but I can jump to it. When it comes to, certain privileges, what hubby and I decided was that we were going to use books as a currency. So we incentivize our children through books, through reading. So say, for instance, my 10-year-old, he wants to, watch something on a Saturday morning. Well, first of all the chores have to be done. And all three of my children have chores for Saturday morning. And so all the chores have to be done. And then you have to read like 10 pages of a personal development book. And my hubby is really good about buying personal development books for the kids. So, Brennan has one about making friends, another one for confidence, another one for money management. Of course, he has Christian personal development books and, devotionals. So he has to read at least 10 pages or like a certain amount of time and then let us know about it. And then he's able to watch YouTube for a certain amount of time. But I don't ever let my kids just watch, TV or watch YouTube or go on the internet. I have to be involved. I have to know what they're doing. I do random check-ins. Randomly, I'll just fly open the door and I'll check, because it's my house. There are no locked doors in my house when it comes to children, especially at this age. Now, when they get older and, they need more privacy, absolutely. But for now, there are no locked doors. Mommy and daddy's doors are the only ones that get locked, okay? And honestly, we probably should lock our door even more, because those little kids, they just bust in when they want to. But yeah, we use books as a currency to incentivize them. So, instead of money, because we buy everything they need and want right now. So instead, we like to use books and chores, as a currency. And that's how I kind of handle things like, TV time or internet time. But again, I'm very aware of what they're watching. I know the history. I see what you're searching. And, so there hasn't been an issue with that, because we've been very vigilant. Now, again, going back to the first thing or the second thing, talking about like, sexuality and all, I realized that, my 10-year-old, he has questions. And so I want to answer those questions, but I make sure that he feels comfortable to come and talk to me, not because he's interested in certain sexual things, but because he realizes that, he's different from a girl and he has questions, things like that. But when it comes to, internet, I'm very much involved, and I don't allow them to just sit and watch mindless TV or be on the internet. I don't. There's a cutoff point for that. But let me know in the comment section, how do some of you ladies handle it? Again, even if your kids are good and grown, maybe you have grandchildren, nieces, nephews that you, care for. How do you guys handle internet time? All right. So the next thing is that I like to, again, prioritize family time. Now, this is huge. Prioritizing family time, because, you want for your children too. Yes, I know eventually my kids are going to want to spend more time with their friends. Again, they're not at that age for my three little ones. And even for my two grown, young adults, when they come over, it's family time. They'll come over for dinner or, Ron Jr., he still lives locally. When he comes for like, dinner or for some kind of, holiday or whatnot, it's an event. We're going to sit down at the table. We're going to, congregate in the family room. We're going to prioritize spending time together. Whether it's a virtual reality game night, we really enjoy doing that. Whether it's an actual family game night where we, do American Idol sing off who sings the best. We like to do things like that. We play bingo sometimes. We'll do little things to just prioritize family time. Sometimes it's watching a movie. But I think it's important for us as we're raising our children not to just let everything be digital, not let everything just be the internet, not let them just have so much free time and so much alone time where they can be attacked. I feel like Satan does his best work when we are alone, whether you're young or old, whether you're a child or an adult. Satan does his best work when you're isolated. So hubby and I are very intentional about, yes, allowing our children to have their own time, play independently. I'm really big on that. Like, it's time for independent play because we want for them to be able to survive without constantly having somebody beside them. But at the same time, I don't want for that to replace togetherness. And I don't want for that to replace bonding. And I don't want for that to replace core memories in their childhood. I saw a post recently where someone said she texted her husband and she was showing a picture of, like she was giving the kids the bath or something like that. And they were just giggling. It was two sisters and they were just giggling. And she texted her husband and said, this for us as adults is just a random Tuesday night. But for our girls, this is their childhood. These are their memories. And that really hit me. I don't know why it was so impressive to me, but I was like, yeah, this is their childhood. When they sit back and reflect in their 20s and 30s and 40s, these are the little moments that they're going to think about, and we're developing their core memories and experiences. So I like to prioritize family time. I think that is important. I think that is something that is missing. It's dying. It's delinquent right now because everything is so digital and because your children could very well spend a whole day without you and you not even realize it because they're off, with the internet. So I don't like that. And so, this is just me. Let me know in the comment section if you have a different perspective. But my hubby and I, we don't like that. We want for our children, our family, to truly be bonded, and I want for my children to know that they can depend on one another. And I want for them to have that special bond. And I want for them to work through some of their life growth here at home first. I think it's good for at some point in time for children to share rooms and share spaces. Right now, my three little ones, they each have their own room. Lauren will probably be the only one who doesn't share a room with anybody because, she's a girl, right? But my two boys, for many years, they shared the same room. Even though we have a 5-bedroom house, they share the same room. And I think it's good when possible for your children to share space with their siblings because it teaches them how to get along with people. If the first time they actually have to share space and hear the word no and deal with conflict is when they're outdoors, that's going to be a problem. Or when they go away for camp for the first time, that's going to be a problem. Or when they go away to college, that's going to be a problem. So whatever we can do to prepare them for the future, we should do it in the confines of the safe space of our home. That's just how I see it. Let me know if you agree or not. So we prioritize family time. All right. Let me know, ladies, what are your thoughts? Do you have any input, any advice, any tips, any questions? Your questions so far tonight have been really, really good. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, let's take a quick little break here, okay, because this is a talk show. Take a quick break. We'll have a couple little ads and then we'll be right back. Are you a woman who enjoys beautiful things? 34.5 Lifestyle has lovely, unique accessories for your everyday look and also for those special occasions. Click the link below to check out our latest accessory collection. Hey, lady, are you a woman who loves the Lord and who also enjoys beautiful things? Well, if you are, then you are personally invited to join my exclusive Christian women's group. In this group, we chat about clothes, beauty, home decor, parenting, marriage, cooking, and of course, our Christian walk. It's Christian lifestyle all encompassing. So be sure to join by clicking the link below. I hope to chat with you soon. Now back to our show. All righty. Ladies, during the quick break, I found the link so you can RSVP for the 100th episode celebration. I feel as though as soon as I turn on an episode, my phone just keeps buzzing and beeping. All right, so I shared a link if you want to RSVP for the 100th episode party. Ladies, you don't want to miss it. Okay, and while you can most definitely come if you have an RSVP because it's an online virtual party. So you can definitely tune in. I would love to have you. It's just that the only way for you to be entered into the door prizes is if you RSVP. Okay. So there's your reason to go ahead and RSVP. All right. Make sure you do so. All right, so we're talking about advice, tips, experiences, perspectives when it comes to parenting, raising our little ones. And I said this before at the top of the hour, even if you're not actively raising children, maybe your children are grown and they've moved out, but you have grandchildren. You have nieces and nephews. There are, children at your church or, in your circle that you are caring for, then this information is still going to be helpful. All right. So the question of the day, if you haven't answered already, what is your fondest childhood memory? I can tell you one of my fondest memories, and it is with my grandmother. So many of you know this, but I moved to Jamaica when I was in elementary school, and I lived with my grandmother, but I also went to an all-girls boarding school. All right. So I went to, grandma's house when we'd have like short breaks and like Easter and things like that. And then I would go back to Ohio with my mom, dad, and brothers and sisters for some Christmases and every summer break. Okay. So a fond memory of me and my grandmother was when I cooked for her. I think I made fried chicken. It was fried chicken. It was barely fried though. That's the catch. It was barely fried. And I remember being so proud. Okay, so I made this fried chicken. It was like chicken thigh and chicken leg. And I did, what I thought, because there was no internet to Google. And I mean, my grandmother, she knows good food, but I don't think I ever saw my grandmother cook. She's always had helpers. And so she would just tell them what she wanted to eat. And then it would just appear on the dinner table. So I don't know if she knew how to make fried chicken, but she knew how it tasted and she knew how it should taste. And so I said, I'm going to cook and I'm going to make fried chicken. So I call myself making fried chicken. And looking back at it, it is the grace of God we did not get sick, because that fried chicken was not cooked all the way through. When you have the stove too high and so the outside is brown and crispy, because I dipped it in the flour and I did all of that good stuff. It was seasoned really well, but it's the grace of God why we did not get sick. Okay, because I look back and I'm like, that chicken was definitely underdone. And my grandmother, you would have thought that it was a 5-star chef meal. She was so complimentary. She was so kind. And I was like, oh my goodness. In that moment, I look back and I realized that she truly boosted my confidence in such a significant way. Just how she responded, just how complimentary and how kind. And she just kept on, she's licking her fingers. Oh, this is so good. She might have been praying, in tongues under her breath the whole time, like, Holy Spirit, keep us safe, keep us alive. I don't want to hurt this child's feelings. I don't know. But I just remember looking now, like I vividly remember the chicken. And I'm like, oh, that was not done. As a child, I didn't really pick up on it. You know what I'm saying? Obviously it wasn't like bleeding, it wasn't, gushy soft, nothing like that. But it could have definitely cooked a little bit longer. But praise God, praise God. She lived to be 105 and I'm still ticking. So, there's that. God protected us. He protects what? Fools and babies. Sometimes you're one, and sometimes, you're both. All right. So that is one of my fond childhood memories. Okay. All right, so we talked about a few pieces of advice already, and I would love to hear chime in, even if you're catching the replay, ladies. Okay, if you're watching on Facebook, smash the like button and share this episode. Share it with someone. All right, sharing is caring. PSA after school special. All right, the next bit of advice and what we are actively cultivating in our home is the understanding that different is good. And when we're talking about being different from the general population in this world, different is godly. And when I was a little girl, I remember having a conversation with my father. And I was crying to him because I just felt so different. And, I'm sure that most children go through that, but for me, it was like, I don't get it. I feel like I could relate to so many people because, as you can tell, I like to talk. I'm very pleasant. I'm outgoing. I like to smile. And yet it wasn't always met with that same positive energy, and I say energy as it truly means, not this ethereal word that everybody's throwing around. No, I'm talking about it was just not met with the same positivity. I couldn't understand that. And that's when my father told me something that was so poignant, and it still remains real to me today. And when I have conversations with my children, I share this with them. God did not make you to be like anybody else. And where he's taking you, sometimes you're going to have to be alone. Sometimes you're going to have to do that part of the journey by yourself. And so he told me, that's what he said. He's like, also, you need to be comfortable with being separate at times. You need to be comfortable with being different because he made you different. There's something special about you. Now, whether he told all my siblings this, I don't know. But all I know is that he told me that, and I took it to heart. And it totally transformed the way I looked at myself and how I interacted with others. And from that point, I began to get very comfortable with not fitting in. And especially with just how we see the world trending away from God and morality declining, it's so important for us to impress upon our children as much as we can and as genuinely as we can that it's okay for them to be different, because different is good. Different, especially when we're talking about being in the world and not of the world, different is godly. All right. We have a comment here. Oh, Tracy said she's looking forward to the 100th episode celebration. Ooh, ooh. Me too. I'm so excited. I'm so excited, Tracy. Okay. My oldest is 50 and my youngest is 35. So it's been a long time. But my grandsons are exposed to so much online and the school bus. I don't know how their parents do it now. And that's what I can't even talk about the school bus, because my children, they ask me all the time if they can be bus riders, especially my middle child. He's always asking, can he be a bus rider? Can he be a bus rider? And I'm like, no, no. Mm-mm. As much as it is an extra level of responsibility and time management and coordination for, him to drive home with, either my husband or myself, mostly or usually my husband, we just took a stand and we said, no, no, you're too young, you're too impressionable. And so we've said no to the school bus. I remember begging my mother, please, 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 before I moved to Jamaica, begging her to allow us to ride the bus. And she finally said yes. And let me tell you, as soon as she said yes, that next week I was like, okay, I'll go back in the vehicle with you. Come pick me up. And she said, absolutely not. You asked for this, you're gonna stay with it for the rest of the year. And when I tell you, I was like, darn, I really didn't know what I was missing. And so, of course, I try to tell my children, like, you don't know what you're missing. Because, when you are around other people, like when you are working, whether you're in corporate America, whether you're an entrepreneur or whatnot, when you're in a work frame of mind, as it doesn't matter how casual, comfortable, friendly, or how rigid, stiff your employment situation is. it's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like when you can just turn your mind off because the day is done. You don't have to worry about people picking on you, saying things. You don't have to, you can just totally let your hair down. And I'm like, do you really want to have 8 hours of just being in a school setting where, the way kids are, they were mean back in the day, but they're even more so now. Do you really want to deal with that for another maybe 30, 45 minutes when you could just be in our car and just let your hair down and just relax? I was like, you don't know what you're missing. So I begged my mother. I said, please, my brother and we begged mommy, please let us ride the school bus. And she said yes. And I regretted it for the entire school year. I sure did. And it wasn't even as though I saw negative things, because I'm the kind of person, I will run away from drama. I will run away from people doing evil, crazy stuff. That's just never been my ministry. Now, when it comes to like evangelism, obviously, I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to share the good news. That's what I like to do. But when it comes to like touchy situations or situations where I have no business being in those places, I'm not going to do it. If there's a commotion in the back of the bus, Sherunda is moving to the front of the bus. That's how I've always been. So I wasn't exposed to anything. But also remember too, the times were different. There were no cell phones, there was no internet. You see what I'm saying? It was a little bit more confined as to the trouble that kids could get into. But still, it was more so just the fact that I couldn't just relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't just relax for an extra 35 to 45 minutes. And then you had people belching all the time. And then, if, people were just loud and rowdy, and it was just, I did not enjoy it. So I try and tell my children, I know you think you want it, especially like I said, my middle son, he's like, I'm gonna ride the bus. I'm like, I know you think you do, but you really don't. You really, really don't. And I know his personality. Once he gets there, he's gonna be like, this wasn't for me, because I know how Cammy is. When Cammy's done with school, he's done. When he's hungry, he wants his food. So an extra 45 minutes delay in his post-school snack, that will not do well for him. I know that. I know that because I'm his mother and I've been raising him now for 7 years. Okay. Cammy does not play about his groceries. I try to tell him. So yeah, as far as the school bus, that's my little soapbox, my own personal experience. All right, see, ladies, any other comments? Yes, kids on the bus use language that is exactly. And my thing is, they're probably already exposed to it at school. But apart from like, random passing in the hallway and, recess, where at this age, my children are playing during recess. I mean, they're already hearing crazy things and the words they hear. And I'm like, at that age, I didn't even know, number one, that was a curse word. Number two, I didn't even know about the combination of curse words. I mean, at my big, big age, I'm just learning about certain curse word combinations. And I'm like, oh no. So yeah, it's a jungle on those school buses, personally. Now, if you're a parent and you are tuning in, I don't want for you to be filled with fear and dread. Cover your children. Pray over your children. Speak over your children. One Bible verse that I rest heavily on is Isaiah. Is it 54:13? Let me double check. Isaiah 54:13. And it says, my children are taught of God and they know peace. That one is one that I rest heavily on. I'm going to get you the specific Bible verse so you can save it. I did a whole video here on Grown Lady Chat where I shared affirmations and verses that you can speak over your children. And quite a few of you reached out to me and said that you printed those out and that you've posted them around your home. And I love to see it. So, make sure you check that video out if you haven't seen it. Okay, so yes, it's Isaiah 54, verse 13. All right. And it reads, let me see, let me put it up on the screen so you can screenshot this for future reference. Okay. Isaiah 54, 13. Okay. It says, all your children will be taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace. So anytime I feel like a flood of anxiety about, my children, and did I do something wrong? Did we as parents do something wrong? Are they exposed to something? Oh no, should I have pulled back? Did I do too much, too little? I'm reminded of Isaiah 54:13. My children are taught of God, and they know peace. And I speak that over them. And so if you're watching, you're like, oh my gosh, my child's on the school bus, and you're worried about what they're being exposed to. First of all, if it's not something that you can control at this moment, then you have to just trust God that He is going to be God in this situation, and cover your children, cover them, speak to them. That's what I'm talking about. We've got to be frank with our kids. We've got to be plain with them. We have to say, look, you need to turn away from evil, run in the opposite direction, run opposite. If something is happening on this side of the room, you need to skedaddle to the other side of the room. And when we can speak with such specific words, I think it's better than just glossing over it and saying, I want you to be good today. No, I want you to make smart choices today. I want you to remember that, you are a representative of not just this household, but also of God, most importantly of God, right? Does that mean that our children are perfect? No. Does that mean the Josie kids are perfect? No. But what it does mean is that we're planting seeds. Lady, plant those seeds. And you're probably already doing it, right? So kudos to you. Snaps, kudos to you. But this is a Bible verse that I rest heavily on. Isaiah 54, verse 13. All your children will be taught by the Lord. That means when you fall short, when your hubby falls short, when the school falls short, when aunties and uncles fall short, it doesn't matter. Speak into their lives. All of my children are taught by the Lord, and great will be their peace. Shalom, wholeness, no lack. That's comforting, ladies. That's comforting. I actually have that Bible verse hanging in my office, because I look at my phone, a phone call is coming in at work, I see it's one of the kids' school calling, and I'm like, up, and you feel that flood of anxiety. What could it be? I say, first of all, Holy Spirit. That's my go-to. Holy Spirit or Jesus. That's like Holy Spirit, Jesus. And then I calm down and I say, no, my children are taught of God. They know peace. My children are covered from the crown of their head to the soles of their feet. Not even a bone shall be broken. I mean, I speak these things over my children because it's real out there. It's scary out there. Satan he's trying to do what he can, but you say, not in my house. Not in my house, Satan. All right, let's see here. So where are we? Okay, let's go to John 17 verse 5. John 17 verse 5. If you're just tuning in, make sure that you smash the like button for me. Don't forget, and spam the comment section. All right. If you're catching the replay, lovely. Glad you're here. Go ahead and chat it up in the comments. Okay. So John 17 verse 15 reads, my prayer is not that you take them out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one. That, to me, this is words in red. Jesus talking to his disciples in John 17, verse 15. My prayer is not that you take them out of the world, but that you protect them from the evil one. And he's talking about us as disciples, because he's talking to his disciples, you and I. We can't take our kids out of the world. We can't take the people that we are discipling and ministering to and evangelizing to. We can't just take them out the world and just hover over them in a protective bubble. Trust me, if it could be done, Sherunda would do it. But you can't do that. What you can do, though, is that you can help them, discipline them, disciple them, educate them, encourage them, nurture them, train them, and then that will help protect them from the evil one. Okay? So hold on to these Bible verses and stand your ground, because Satan's not going to give up, and you shouldn't give up either. And when you are weak, remember, it's in those moments of weakness that God's greatness, his strength is amplified, it's magnified. And I just had to talk with myself about this recently, and one of my kids, just separate occasions, just talking about how, like, yes, we feel weak at times. We feel downtrodden at times, discouraged, and that's perfect. Believe it or not, that's perfect for God to move and for him to be even more effective in our lives. Because when we walk around thinking we have it all together, it's harder for us to hear the word of God, and it's harder for us to go to him, because we might not be thinking about it, right? Everything's moving along so well, we might not be thinking about going to God and asking him for help. So that's why the Bible says, his strength is made perfect in our weakness. So embrace your weakness, ladies, and let your kids know that when they're feeling weak, talk to God. I tell my kids that all the time. After we're done talking, I want you to go talk to God about it, because whatever he tells you will be all that you need to hear. Yes, I'm your mommy. Yes, I'm going to help you. Yes, we'll pray together. We'll laugh together. We'll cry together. Absolutely. I'm going to give you instruction, help. But at the same time, the only person you truly need to talk to is God. So when we're done talking, you run and you will have a talk with Jesus. Tell him all about your problems, okay? All right, see, ladies. Let me know in the comments section, are you enjoying tonight's episode? If you are, first thing you should do is smash the like button, spam the comment section, number 2, and then number 3, share this episode with a friend, okay? All right, I have a couple more things I want to chat about as far as advice. If you have any questions, let me know. Does anybody want to join the chat? Anybody want to come on and talk about it? Let me know. All right, I can share the link again. Let me share the link. Copy and let me share it in the comment sections. All you have to do, if you want to come on with either audio, video, or both, you can just click the link that I've shared. On Facebook, it's the same thing. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, good evening. Good evening. Hello, hello. How are you? Thank you for tuning in, Letitia. Let me know where you're tuning in from. That's like standard here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And good evening. Thank you for being here. So I've shared quite a few tips and pieces of advice. I've also answered some of the questions. And if you ladies have any questions or advice, I encourage you to share them. And then, we'll talk about it. Okay. All right. So a couple other things that I wanted to share. Now this next one, ladies, you have to do this with wisdom. All right. You don't want to share your stories, your childish, your childish, foolish choices just haphazardly. Okay. You have to do it carefully and with wisdom and age appropriately. But I think it's good for you to share your stories, the good things, the bad things, the things that help you grow, right? The things that you struggled with. Again, just making your child feel like he or she is not alone. That's so important. Again, remember, Satan likes to work in isolation. He likes to let us, adults and children alike, feel as though we are so different. We're so separate that no one can understand us. And then he starts planting those seeds of negativity, self-deprecation, and doubt, and just keeps on drilling it into our heads. And before you know it, you're so far gone when really the problem was very small. But Satan, because you're alone, you're not talking about it with anybody, he's magnified it. He's amplified it so much that it seems like a big mountain when really it was a small molehill. He does that to us. He will do that to your children as well. So I like to share as appropriately, right? Share my stories with them. Let them know you're not alone. I've been there, done that, and I've lived to tell the story. Okay. So I think that's a good thing that we can do for our children as well. All right. You're driving to Kentucky. Oh, yay. All right. See, good deal. Good deal. Good deal. You're driving in Kentucky? Safely, I'm sure. Yes, yes. All right. See, but it's so good to have you tuned in. Yay. So good to have you tuned in. All righty. So, like I was saying before, make sure that you share your stories with them. Let them know, because, your children look up to you. You know your flaws. You know the things that you coulda, shoulda, woulda done better, right? But your children, they see you as a superhero. They see you as the person who can fix all the problems. They see you as the person with all the answers. And so, especially at a certain age, as they grow up and as your relationship evolves and you can relate to them more as, young adults and as adults, they'll realize that, yeah, there were a lot of things that mommy and daddy didn't know, but, they did their best and they'll love you for it. But when you have little ones, adolescents, they look at you as someone who knows everything. And so seeing you in, your superpower in their mind, saying like, oh yeah, you know what? I dealt with that. I dealt with that insecurity as well. I dealt with that at school. I dealt with that in my own personal life. It lets them realize like, oh, wow. Okay. So I look up to mommy. I look up to daddy. They're super cool. They got through it. They're okay. So I'll be okay as well. So I think it's really good for us to with wisdom, share our own stories, the good things and the not so good things, the things that we struggled with as well, because it just makes them realize that they will get through it, as just as you did. Okay. Yay. Awesome. Awesome. Good deal. Yay. Love to see it. So exciting. So exciting. I was born in Ohio, and I lived, you could say, well, I was raised in Jamaica, but I lived for a good majority of my life in Ohio. So that's not too far from Kentucky. And then I also went to the University of Dayton for college. Look at us. We were close all these years, unless you didn't live there back in the day. Unless you didn't, but yes. Okay. Tracy says every child is different and punishments need to be something that they can understand and given in love, so they understand you want them to be their best. Yeah, that's wonderful. That is a really good tip. Thank you for sharing that, Tracy. I think that as parents, we, if we're not careful, we can fall into not the trap, let's call it a trap, into the trap of trying to discipline all of our children the same. What worked for one should work for the other, but that's not the case, because your children are so unique. And I mean, one of my kids, all I have to do is just look with that mommy look, and that's enough to make them just wither. Somebody else you have to give a stern talking to. Somebody else you need to ask them a question like, is that smart? And that's enough to redirect. You see what I'm saying? So we definitely do need to, as Tracy pointed out, we have to be aware that each child is different. And so when we're disciplining and training our children different, it's going to be different. But then also, as she pointed out, showing them that we're doing it out of love. And there are times when I've asked my children, do you understand why you were punished? Do you understand why you had to go to your room? Do you understand why, this happened? And if they say no, then I'll explain to them, because otherwise it makes no sense. All they're thinking is, okay, well, something sad happened to me and I don't know why. Like, what did I do wrong? So then they're more prone to repeat the activity, right? Or to repeat the offense. But I like to ask my kids, do you know why you don't have any TV time today? Do you know why you have to go into your room and play by yourself for, a couple of hours versus coming downstairs? Do you know why? And it's really good for them to have that understanding. I like that tip. That's really good. Anybody else have any other tips or questions when it comes to parenting your adolescents? And I know, Letitia, you're driving. You might not be able to type a lot, but if you wanted, you could always, come on with your audio and just, Bluetooth it, talk to us on the audio safely, of course, hands free. Let me know. Okay, Tracy, and always do whatever you have told them. And always do whatever you have told them will be the consequences. Oh, follow through. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. And you know what really frustrates me is that when I discipline my child or punish my child, it's like I'm in punishment too. Because let's say I was like, okay, behave, otherwise we're not going to go to Sky Zone or Jump Zone. And if they keep cutting up, then I'm like, I really wanted to go to Sky Zone. I wanted to jump. I wanted to have fun. But now I have to follow through. And so now we're all in punishment. Okay. We're all, in the house. So yeah, I think that's a really good one. Always do whatever you said the consequence would be, and follow through. Ooh, that one is that's for the parents. Let me know if that hit you. It's a good reminder for me, because hubby and I, we always talk about it. And we're like, you know what? There are so many times when we're like, we plan on having, like, let's say like a family movie night, and we get all the popcorn because we're extra. We get little popcorn, containers, and we'll have, the living room spread out and everything. We just do the most with the surround sound and all that. And if they're not being good listeners, we're like, please be good listeners so that we can have fun too, because yes, we like to have our mommy and daddy time. Yes, we like to have our solo time as well. But sometimes though, it's really good just to be with your children, to be with the whole family. And again, to make those childhood memories. So it is always frustrating when I have to discipline them, and then that means that I don't get to have fun, the way I plan on having fun with my kids either, because I like them. Not only do I love my kids, but I like them. I genuinely tell them, if I didn't have to care for you, if I didn't give birth to you, I would still really like you. And I would be like, wow, whoever is the mother for that kid, they're really blessed. Like I feel that about my children. So I'm like, sometimes all I want to do is just play with you and have fun with you and, go shopping with you. But if you don't listen and, act right, then there are consequences. We have to follow through. That's a good one, Tracy. That's good. All right, ladies. So share your stories. And let's see, what else was I going to share? Oh, ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. You ready for this one? I don't know if you're ready. This is a good one. Okay. You can't be friends with your kids. Now, for the sake of, just space on my little banner here, I didn't put until a certain age, because I feel as though my parents and we are now friendly. I wouldn't say we're friends. Like, I don't know. I would say we're friends, because I don't really, we're friends. There's still that baseline respect. Like, don't think you're just gonna just talk to me any kind of way, which I don't talk to people crazy unless you come for me. So generally speaking, I'm not that kind of person who just talks recklessly to my friends. So it's never been a situation like that. But I would say, as I've gotten older, my parents and we are friends, and that's lovely. But when we were children, or when I was a child, I wasn't friends with my parents. And I tell my kids this all the time. My role is not to be your friend, it's to be your mother. Okay. And there are many wonderful things that come with that, but there's also some not so pleasant things that come with that, as I teach you and train you and discipline you and raise you up. So we can't be friends with our kids. We cannot do it. I think it erodes the level of respect, and it lessens the impact of your training when you try to be friends with your children, because the level of respect you have for your friends is not the same as you have for your parents, no matter how old you are, right? There is a level of honor that comes with parent-children relationships, right? That you don't have with your friends. You love them, you respect them, but I wouldn't say that I honor my friends, but I honor my parents, even at my big, big age. So I think when you have adolescent, young children, yes, you can, of course you're nice to them, you love them, you nurture them, you laugh with them, you giggle, you play with them, you playfully cut up, all of that. But as far as like being friends with them, absolutely not. And I've seen where women try to be friends with their children, and it backfires, because when they have to flip into disciplinarian, it doesn't work so well, because your child is used to you being on the same level with them. Bruh, absolutely not. I am nobody's bruh. Okay, nobody, not to nobody, not my own brother. I'm not his bruh. Okay, so we have to really be careful with that. Yes, you want to be kind and all of this, but it doesn't mean that we're going to compromise the parent-child relationship when we do this. So I'm not friends with my kids. I wouldn't even consider myself friends with my 20-year-old children. No, we're not friends. I think we are more friendly than when they were little kids, but I wouldn't consider us friends, because there's still some training and raising and rearing that I'm doing in their lives, albeit I'm their bonus mom. You know what I'm saying? It's still the same way, So I think that is something we should be mindful of when we are raising kids. And here's another thing too. When it comes to, even just discipline, I didn't put this as a note, but let me know what you ladies think. When it comes to even discipline and being respectful of those in authority, it is so important for us to drill home the point that that our children should be respectful of authority. I mean, all over social media, there was a period of time where my news feed was just children being disrespectful and belligerent. I mean, just so awful to teachers and coaches and police officers. And I had to rearrange my algorithm and start saying uninterested, uninterested, because I don't want to see that in my psyche. I don't want that in my mind. But I was like, the sad part about it is that there are parents behind these children and they're egging them on and they're saying it's okay. Not in every situation. So please don't think I'm saying blanket wise. But for the most part, children learn from somewhere. And so we have to then either say, okay, where'd you learn it from, and help them unlearn it and then respect authority. Or we just say, okay, are they learning at home? And then check ourselves and say, what are we doing? How are we showing them that it's okay to be disrespectful to authority? Now, to me, standing up for yourself and protecting your rights as a human being is not disrespectful. It should not be disrespectful. But when it does become that way, then that is where we get into lots of problems. So it's really important for us as parents to make sure our children know that you should respect authority. Don't get into arguments with adults. Leave that to me. You come home and tell me respect. And I'm not saying do anything that is untoward. Don't let anybody touch you inappropriately. Don't let anybody talk to you any kind of way. I mean, there are hard rules where it's like, no, immediately you handle that. But when it comes to just they told you to sit down or they said you were doing something, you said you weren't doing it, don't go back and forth with adults. That's just a respect thing. Now, if you believe there's a problem where something was done incorrectly, you come, you tell me, let me handle it. Let your dad handle it. Right. So I think that's something that we also have to, drill home with our kids. All right. In my opinion, okay. Again, are my children perfect? No. But are we actively trying to train them up in the best way we can? Absolutely. We are actively trying. And I'm sure you are as well. So I hope these little tips are helpful to you, or just experiences are helpful to you. Let me know if they are in the comment section. Okay. All right. And then the last thing that I think is extremely important, and there are other things. Let me just not say the last thing, but the last thing that I want to touch on tonight that I think is really important is giving each child personal time to talk with you. And I believe that this goes even beyond adolescence. For a period of time there, I would call my mother every morning on my way to work. And this is like after I was married, and it was just, I knew that at that time she'd be awake. I knew that more than likely none of my other siblings would be calling her at that time unless there was an emergency or something. So I knew that I would have that, time to talk with her. And then there was a time period where I would call my father on my way home from work, because I knew that that's when he would, have at least like a 15-20 minute pocket of time to chat. And I feel like that is important, definitely for adolescents, but it can also be important for your adult children as well. Because again, like I said earlier on, a parent is a parent all the time. Your children are always going to need you on some level, in some capacity, whether it's just to talk through things with, to laugh with, to share anecdotal stories of the kids with, whatever. Your children still need you, So what I like to do, what I try to do, is I try to give each of my children even just a few minutes to talk with me one-on-one, whether every day or just throughout the week. And sometimes it does get a little overwhelming in that I have 3 kids that always want me all the time, right? But I still say, hey, look, I'm talking with so-and-so now. I'll talk to you in a minute, because I want for whoever I'm talking to in that moment to know that he or she is the most important person in this moment. And I also want for the other siblings to realize that, hey, there are boundaries. And right now, mommy can't be available to me. If there were an emergency, she could be, but right now she's tending to someone else. That way they realize that as much as we would all hope that the world revolves around us, it does not, and I think a lot of times people don't realize that. And I know many adults who don't realize that. They literally think the world still revolves around them. No, it does not. Whoever told you that was a lie. Okay. So yeah, I like to give each child personal time to talk. And if your children are, quick thinkers like mine, then they will try to make that personal time right before bed, because then they want to ask all these philosophical deep questions. And I'm like, I see you. I was once a child. No. Okay. Come talk to me before. So, I'll pull them to the side and say, hey, how was your day? Tell me 3 good things that happened to you today, or tell me one thing that made you happy, or, I ask questions, or was there anything concerning? It's not that every time I ask 5 or 6 questions, But most of the time, my children have so much to tell me anyway that just comes out just like, very easily. But sometimes, they're a little bit more subdued and I have to pull information out. But I do try and ask them questions that are not just one word answers because I want to know what's happening in their lives. Again, remember, Satan likes to keep our children isolated. He wants to build a wall between you and your children, a wall between you and your spouse. That way, he can wedge himself in and start planting bad seeds. So my role, your role in your home is to break down those walls, right? Remember Psalms, it tells us as wives, we are to be the vines in our home. And when I think of a vine, we think of going through every crack and every crevice and every, dark room and everything. We are all up in it, in the mix. Okay. So that's your role in your child's life. And a big part of that is, in my opinion, allowing your child to have personal time with you. Let's see. I'm picking up groceries and takeout. Ooh, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? It's helpful. Wonderful. Yay. I'm so happy, Letitia. I am so happy that you're finding this helpful. And it really means a lot to me that you are, going about life and still engaged in Girl Lady Chat. This is wonderful. We're doing life together. We're literally doing life together right now. This is awesome. All righty. Okay, so let's see. All right, it's already after 8. I have shared, let's see, I believe I shared all of my, tips or advice just for, for now. All right, it's not forever. This is just for now. The things that I know that we're actively doing. And there are more things, there are other things. I really enjoyed the tips and advice that Tracy shared. So very helpful. Thank you so very much. And if you haven't already, make sure you join my email community, okay? Because I communicate in that space more frequently, and there are things that I share there that I don't share on other platforms. It's just another way for you to be involved, get plugged in. Next year, 2025, we're having our first in-person Grown Lady Chat conference. I'm planning for it to be in the month of July. So, just put like a little mental asterisk. All right. So get ready to come to Georgia, Southern Georgia, July 2025. All right. We're going to have a face-to-face Grown Lady Chat conference. All right. It's going to be wonderful. But even, just leading up to that, I just want for us to continue to grow as a community. I want for us to continue to do life together. And I am so fortunate and blessed that, my little corner of the internet, my little slice of the pie, you all are so pleasant. You're so wonderful. You're so encouraging. But it doesn't mean we always agree on everything. I think it's good, when we have opposing perspectives. I think that's also really good. And before I forget, ladies, OMG, I was thinking the other day, because I know that I have many unpopular opinions that I think should be popular. And I was like, that would be a good chat to have in the Grown Lady Chat community. So on May 2nd, okay, May 2nd, we're going to be having a live chat about unpopular opinions that should be popular. I can't wait. I cannot wait, because I already know at least 5 ladies already I know who are going to respond and have their unpopular opinions that should be popular. I can't wait to hear it. Now, if you're in my email community, you will be getting emails about ways for you to share your unpopular opinions so that I can, share them on the chat. But you can also reserve your unpopular opinion to come and share yourself, okay? And we can have a lively chat about it, sharing different perspectives. But I figured that would be such a good chat, because there are so many things that I'm like, everybody should think like this, but most people don't. But it should be a popular opinion. So I want to hear, all right? So May 2nd, I'm very excited about that episode already. May 2nd, unpopular opinions that should be popular. It's going to be a live chat, and you can always submit your unpopular opinions to me, or you can come on and share them yourself. Okay. All right. So that's happening. Let's see the comment section. This is so good. I'm at the point where I'm teaching Kinsley boundaries. Boundaries. Ooh, that's such a big word. That's such a big word. And it's funny. I don't think when I was growing up, that wasn't a word that was commonly associated with teaching children, like boundaries. It was more so boundaries of what not to do, not boundaries that we should have for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have boundaries, and I've identified boundaries I have for myself as far as how I interact with others and how I let others interact with me who are around me. But it wasn't, we didn't grow up hearing that term. So I really like the fact that teaching our children boundaries is a thing. I like that. I believe my parents taught me boundaries, but it wasn't as direct and spelled out like this should be a boundary for you. It was more just an understood thing. But yeah, teaching boundaries. Yay, we love it. We love it. Well, how old is Kinsley now? Her little pretty self. How old? She wants mom's attention all the time. Yep. Yep, 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 yep. They do. And that's the thing. We have to remember that our role, and my husband is really good about reminding me about this. My role, one of my roles as a parent, is to make sure that my children can thrive, not just survive, but thrive successfully without me. Does it mean that I want for them to totally abandon me when I'm still living? No. But it does mean that I should be able to rest peacefully at night, knowing that my children have the life skills to not just survive, but to thrive without me. So, teaching our children boundaries, like, there will be a time when I will not always be accessible to you. That's a realistic boundary for your peace, for your mental space, for their growth and development. Our children should know that. I think, yeah, I mean, some of the benefits of having multiple children is that they have to learn it. And if they don't learn it, then it's more obvious when they're younger. And then you can make corrective action, when they're younger, versus when it's, just one child, then I think it might be a little bit more difficult. It might be a little, not impossible, but might be a little bit more difficult. But that's so good that you are taking that seriously, because she's going to need that. No mommy wants to know that their child doesn't need them, but it's actually a sign of good parenting when your kids are like, I can do life. I'm glad I still have mommy and daddy to help me, and I can call on them, but they are confident enough to do life without being up under you. So it's actually a sign of it's actually a good thing. All right. That sounds great. Get together. Yes, 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 yes. So put a tentative star beside July 2025, because we're having a Grown Lady Chat conference. Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it. Really? Oh, that's true. She and Lauren are close in age. Okay, she'll be 4 on June 11th. Wow. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Time is really flying. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes, that's good. Yay, yay, yay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Letitia. Okay, so Tracy says, I believe young parents should seek an older Christian that has wisdom to help you. I raised my 4 and I was a foster mom. Trust me, I learned a lot. I did not know that, Tracy. Wow. I didn't know that you were a foster mom. And that's biblical right there. That's biblical. The Bible tells us that it's more about like Christian wives and us talking to older women, and then learning from older women as Christian wives and such. But in general, that's just a biblical concept, to go have someone who is wiser, older than you in Christ, or who's a Christian, who can answer questions and give you advice. So I think that is really good. That's a good tip and tool. And if it can't be your parents for whatever reason, maybe they're no longer living, or maybe they're just not the person who you can go to, or they're not the people you can go to, then you should find someone in your community, in your church, and pray about it. Pray, because we're coming away from the whole village raising children, but I still very much believe in that. I still very much expect for my good friends who know my children and who know what my husband and I stand for. I expect for them too, if they see one of my children not behaving properly, to let me know. I expect for them to say, hey, your mom wouldn't appreciate that, better. I expect that of my friends, and there are some friends, not all of my friends, but some friends who expect for me to do the same for their children. And of course, let them be aware of it. So yeah, we're still a village, we should still be a village. And asking for help and guidance and someone to mentor you in parenting, that is brilliant and it's priceless. It really is. I've always been of the mindset that I would rather hear about the ills and the pitfalls versus experiencing them myself. Like if you tell me if I touch that stove, I'm going to get burned, and then you show me the scar where you touched the stove and you got burned, trust, I'm not touching that stove. I'm going to take your word for it. Now, it's not always that I'm not going to try new things, but if you show me the evidence that, hey, this is what I learned, this is a better way for you to do it, and I value your opinion and I trust your opinion. So not everybody, not every person on the street, but I value that, I'm going to take it and say, okay, you know what, filter it through Holy Spirit. If there's no check in my spirit from Holy Spirit, then I'm going to believe you. So, hearing from Tracy and hearing from, my mom and my dad and my grandmother and, my aunties and uncles, and hearing what they can teach me as a piece, so that's good. That's good. That's good information. Treatment, treatment foster kids that had a lot of issues, right? So clearly you would be an awesome resource, for a parent who has troubled children, whether they're foster kids or their own biological children. So that's wonderful. And I'm sure Tracy would make herself available because that's the kind of lady she is. So if there is anybody watching, I can comfortably speak for Tracy because I know her heart, that, she's that kind of person who would want to just be helpful if it's, in any way she can. So that is really good. All righty, ladies. That is all I have for tonight's episode. That's all I have. Yay. I am so glad. We have been talking now for 1 hour and 21 minutes, and it's been a really great chat. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you to those of you who tuned in. Again, if you're catching the replay, welcome. Chat us up in the comments. All right. I love to go back and read the comments. It really just warms my heart. Remember, there are new episodes of Grown Lady Chat every Monday and Thursday. And on Thursdays, we go live. So on Thursdays, there'll be a live chat like this. My sons are playing baseball with the Y right now. So there are some Thursdays where there might be a pre-recorded video, but for the most part, you can expect a live chat on Thursdays at 7. Okay. All righty, ladies. So thank you so very much for tuning in. Until next time, remember, I am Dr. Sherunda Simone, and I will either see you at the top or from the top. You decide. Bye.